Tragic turn in Coronation Street. Shona dies after ending her pregnancy. David's world falls apart. Coronation Street is set for one of its most heartbreaking storylines, yet as fan favorite Shona Platt faces a devastating fate following a tragic decision to end her pregnancy. In upcoming scenes, viewers will witness the emotional unraveling of both Shona and David Platt, as a cruel twist of fate destroys their dreams of welcoming a baby girl into their family. What begins as a routine hospital appointment quickly spirals into tragedy when the consultant delivers the crushing news that Shona and David's unborn daughter has developed a tumor on her neck. The consultant warns the couple that the growth may be cancerous, leaving them shocked, terrified, and completely broken. Shona, known for her fiery spirit and resilience, tries to stay hopeful, while David, ever the protective partner, struggles to hide his panic. The doctors explain that the tumor could put both mother and baby at risk, and the couple are faced with an impossible decision: whether to continue the pregnancy or terminate it to protect Shona's life. For days, the Platts are consumed by sleepless nights and tearful discussions. Shona's health begins to decline as the tumor continues to grow, and the stress becomes unbearable. David pleads with her to think of her own safety, but Shona remains torn, her motherly instincts clashing with her fear of what's ahead. In heartbreaking scenes, Shona finally decides to end the pregnancy, hoping that by doing so, she can spare herself and David further pain. The decision devastates them both, but David promises to stand by her side through it all. The operation goes ahead, and while the doctors reassure David that things are under control, tragedy strikes when Shona begins to experience severe complications. Despite desperate efforts to save her, the unthinkable happens. Shona dies in hospital, leaving David shattered and alone once again. The aftermath of Shona's death will be some of the most emotional scenes Coronation Street has aired in years. David blames himself for encouraging her to end the pregnancy, convinced that if he had fought harder, she might still be alive. His grief spirals out of control. He isolates himself from friends and family, haunted by memories of their lost future. Fans can expect to see David breaking down as he revisits the nursery they had planned for their daughter. In one powerful moment, he clutches the small baby blanket Shona had bought, whispering through tears that he killed them both. It's a raw and gut-wrenching portrayal of a man consumed by guilt and loss. The Platt family rallies around David, with Gail doing her best to keep the household together. But tensions rise when Nick and Sarah try to intervene, leading to a fierce argument that threatens to tear the family apart. Meanwhile, Max struggles to cope with the loss of his stepmother, and Lily asks painful questions that David cannot answer. Elsewhere, Audrey offers quiet support, reminding David that Shona would never want him to blame himself. But David's grief quickly turns to anger, at the doctors, at fate, and even at himself. "Every time I think I've got a family, it gets taken away," he tells Gail in an emotional outburst that leaves viewers heartbroken. While David's world falls apart, life continues elsewhere on the cobbles. Will continues to lie to Eva and Ben about his whereabouts, fueling suspicion that he's hiding something dangerous. Kevin's risky poker night raises alarm bells for Sally, who fears he's gambling away more than just money. Meanwhile, Michael reveals Fitz's work meltdown to Tyrone, setting off a chain of gossip that could cause serious trouble at the garage. In another subplot, Sally informs Tim that Lou is due in court following a violent prison fight, sparking debate among residents about whether she deserves a second chance. But even these dramatic side stories can't overshadow the deep tragedy unfolding in the Platt household. Fans have already begun to express their heartbreak on social media as word of Shona's death spreads. Many are praising Julia Goulding for her emotional performance, calling it one of the most powerful moments in Coronation Street history. Viewers have followed Shona's journey for years, from her complicated relationship with David to her struggle with memory loss, and her death marks the end of an unforgettable chapter. Some fans, however, have criticized the writers for taking such a dark turn, arguing that David has suffered enough loss. But producers insist the storyline was written to explore the unimaginable grief that real families face in similar circumstances. As Weatherfield mourns another beloved character, all eyes turn to David Platt's future. Will he find the strength to rebuild his life again, or will this tragedy push him past the point of no return? Insiders suggest that this storyline will mark the beginning of a darker journey for David, one filled with anger, guilt, and possibly revenge against those he feels failed Shona. Whatever happens next, one thing is certain: Coronation Street has delivered another unforgettable, emotionally charged story, one that will leave viewers reaching for the tissues and reflecting on the fragility of life and love.